How do you know if you've really found your soulmate? And what is the difference between a soulmate relationship and any other kind of relationship? If this intrigues you, stay tuned for this week's video. Hi, my name is Melissa Kitto and I am the founder of the Spirit Guided Life School and the creator of 2 core programs for your spiritual development, the Communicate with Angels course and Authentic and Aligned, which is all about helping you find your deeper soul's calling and purpose for this lifetime. If these topics intrigue you, hit that subscribe button. I share new free content weekly. So today we're talking about soulmates. How do you know if you've found your soulmate? What is a soulmate, etc. The first point to be aware of is that there are many kinds of soulmates, not just romantic. We can have many different types of relationships in our lifetime, and all of them are important in some way. Obviously, we're closer to some people than others, but you can have many types of soulmates. In a way, I would consider some of my close female friends to be a soulmate kind of relationship. We call each other soul sisters or, close friends who are really, really aligned. Now, what many people call a soulmate, they are confusing with a really old-fashioned concept, the kind of thing we see in Disney movies or many other kind of movies, this idea that I'm trying to find the one, right? The one person who will complete me, the one person I'm supposed to be with. And that is what confuses ideas of soulmates. Because really what soulmate is all about is that you have some kind of soul connection. You might even say that you have a soul family. You have other souls who have incarnated into planet Earth and lived many different lifetimes just like you have, that you have some kind of connection with. Maybe you meet someone and you feel like you're picking up where you left off. That is a good sign that that person is a soulmate in some way, or a soul family member, let's say. Now, if you attract somebody into your life and you feel like, wow, we just already have a connection, or I feel like I already know this person in some way, we just jive so quickly, that's a pretty good sign that you've known them in a past lifetime. And so it's going to feel like that soul connection, no matter what kind of relationship it actually might be in this lifetime, whether it be romantic, business, friendship, family, etc. There's going to be some people that you really feel that soul affinity with. Now, we can have affinities with people, but what becomes even more important is the idea of a spiritual contract. So again, in many different kinds of relationships, we can have some kind of soul contract. And what that means is there is mutually beneficial learning and growing happening. We've come together for some specific reason, whether it be to grow in a certain area or to learn a lesson, to learn something new that it would just be very difficult for you to learn on your own, but that other person has mastered something that you have not, and that's why you've attracted them into your life. Or it can even be a reflection of a not so good habit that you have that interacting with this person actually helps you to see and become aware of, where it might have been hidden otherwise. So there is so much value in these spiritual contracts in many, many ways. If we're talking about the context of romantic relationships, you could say that a soulmate is someone that you have a strong affinity with. You really enjoy being around them. You enjoy having conversations. Things feel easy. You feel like you are similar, not necessarily in personality, but in sort of your state of consciousness. And at the same time, you have a spiritual contract. Now, spiritual contracts have different timelines. They can end, they can change. And so it might be that a soulmate person that you attract in this lifetime, maybe you have a contract with them for 3 years and then it's over. Or maybe you attract a soulmate relationship and you have a contract of 20 years. Or maybe you have a soulmate connection and there's a contract of 10 years and then it changes to something different. Everybody's timeline and contracts are unique. But the key is that, again, if we're talking about romantic relationships, it's going to be that person that you have both an affinity with and a contract. Now, how do we know if we have a contract? Well, because it's unique to everybody, please don't compare yourself to anybody else. really the only way that I know of to really be clear about your contracts is to ask your team of guides, your helpers, your guidance, your angels. You have a team. They're here to help you unfold what you came to do this lifetime, and they will definitely advise you on your contracts. So when I left my previous marriage, I had a sense that I needed to, but I really asked my angels if the contract had ended. And at the time I first asked, it said, no, it hasn't ended yet, but it's going to end at the end of this year. Like, how specific is that? Now, I'm saying that in a very matter-of-fact way now that it's many years later. But at the time, that was challenging to deal with. Now, in my current relationship, I often check if there is a contract and what that contract is about. Who knows how long it's going to last? I don't know. I don't think it's always good to know that for certain. But what is important to know right now is, what is the purpose of this contract? What am I getting out of it? Now, if you are dating and you're not sure if you really have a soulmate connection with someone or if there's a contract, you can ask your guidance, is there a contract for me to be in a committed romantic relationship with X person at this time? That's how I phrased the question. Now, I know there's many different types of relationships. There's many different types of relationship models. That's up to you. But knowing what you want and what you're looking for, is there a spiritual contract? Because if there's not, and you're wanting to hold on to something when there isn't a contract anymore, it's really spiritually not in your best interest, and it's actually going to do more harm than good from a spiritual point of view. You're holding on to the past, and we always need to be growing and evolving. If you're holding on to something when your angels say you don't have a contract, there's probably I'm not going to say probably, there is something better out there for you. So by being decisive and ending a relationship when there's no contract, you're going to open yourself up for the next beautiful opportunity. Now, sometimes there is a contract still. And if you're feeling conflict within that relationship, then it's time to double down with your guidance on, okay, what have I got to learn here? What am I learning about myself? What could I do differently? How can I communicate better with this person? These are the kind of questions to keep asking so that you can really have full and rich relationships and fulfill your spiritual contracts, because actually fulfilling your contracts is a big part of what you've come to do. It's a part of your purpose for this lifetime. So I've talked a lot in this video about asking your angels. So if you don't have a clear communication with your angels yet, I invite you to check out my website, communicatewithangels.com. You're going to find a free training on there on how to hear a message from your angels, and that's going to get you started on actually being able to connect and tune in and ask your angels very direct questions. What to do next? I invite you to go to my website, and I invite you to watch another video, one of the most popular videos on my channel, which is all about spiritual contracts. What are they? What do they mean? How do you work with them? Etc. So go ahead and click on that video next, and I'll see you on over there.